Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Catholic Education Foundation podcast number 52. And boy, do we have a guest for you today.
Yeah, we do.
This podcast will feature Adriana Trigiani, a New York Times bestseller, author, playwright, filmmaker, podcaster, and most importantly, the keynote speaker at the 36th annual Salute to Catholic School Alumni Dinner that's set for March 10th at Louisville's Galt House Hotel. And as always, Mr. Rich Lecklider, the president of the Catholic Education Foundation. Adri, welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, this is high octane fabulous.
Well,
I'm not used to this. This is so professional.
Oh, well, yeah, right. You're not used to professional. Okay, so thank you for serving for the keynote of the Salute Dinner event. Such a big deal for our community. Rich, this has to be the first time in our podcast series we get to welcome a New York Times bestseller, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you so much for being here today and taking time out.
My honor, my
And again, thanks for speaking tonight at the Salute. We're going to have 1,400 people at the Salute. It's sold out. It'll be our biggest event ever, and we are so grateful for you to be there. Thank you.
Oh, really can't wait.
All right, Adrian, before we get into where you are today, tell us a little bit about the Trigiani family, your beginnings. You're one of 7 children, is that correct?
I'm one of 7. I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
Third.
Rich can tell you all about that.
Oh, yeah.
He comes from a big family, too.
Yeah, we're kind of like the last of the Mohicans because folks don't have big families like our parents did.
Yeah.
I read something troubling the other day, though, that very wealthy people are having big families. And, of course, that's not really the point, it's for just the wealthy people to have the kids. But this has become economically difficult, which is why we're here raising money for Catholic education.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
That's right. So you grew up in Appalachia. How was your Catholic faith formed?
Well, I would say that I'm still Catholic in many ways. Well, you have to credit my parents, I guess, and my grandmothers. Oh, my gosh. But really what keeps me Catholic was the inculcation of the Glen Marys. And inculcation's a huge word, but we're on a Catholic podcast, and I can use words.
They can handle that.
They can take it because they know what it means. Well, the Glen Marys were really interesting. I'm talking about the 1970s now, so it was very hip, and we were a small little rogue band of less than 1% of the population in Appalachia is Catholic in Southwest Virginia. So, we became close to whoever we went to church with, and they were our good friends. And then you had your school friends who were not Catholic. But what I loved about the Glen Marys was their boots on the ground approach to service. It didn't matter what religion you were or if you had none. They were going to find a way to take care of you. And then there were these beautiful nuns that ran St. Mary's Hospital and who that came from Ireland, and nobody wanted them. And they landed in Norton, Virginia, which is the closest city to Big Stone Gap. And they became a big part of our lives, too. So for me, my Catholic faith is really about action.
Yeah.
It isn't about being a part of a group for the sake of it. It's what can we do for the common good? And then your sacraments play into that, of course.
So I think that I saw where you and your 4 sisters all attended St. Mary's College in South Bend, Indiana.
Well, now you should just have a caveat to that. I got in because of my sister Pia. I would not have gotten in. She went in there and
Pia was the oldest.
Nun,
Yeah.
Okay.
Sister Francesca Kennedy, man, she was rough. When I got there, she called me in and she says, "Listen, you have to up your game here." She didn't say it like that, but whatever she said scared me. And I was so desperate to go to college that, I would have done anything to go to college, really. But my sister, but not enough, by the way, to study hard beforehand.
Yeah, right. That'd been too easy.
I was a news reporter at WNVA Radio. In my own mind, I had a bright future, but I don't think it was obvious, And then St. Mary's made that happen, and I love St. Mary's.
What was the allure to college for you?
Show business.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a theater major.
That makes sense.
So you studied theater at St. Mary's.
That's what I was, a theater major. And at the time, it's called the Notre Dame St. Mary's Theater. So we had the boys and girls from Notre Dame, too. Or should I call them young women and young men? I guess I should.
Yeah, because Notre Dame just went co-ed during the 70s, right?
Well, like 72.
Yeah.
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 And so
There were a few women at Notre Dame, not a ton.
Not, well, they got them from St. Mary's originally, and then they had their admissions program, and they tried to merge with St. Mary's, and that went south. But what I love about St. Mary's still to this day is the mission of the education. It's very clear what they're trying to do, which is, to educate the full woman in every way. This is where the Catholic woman does her thinking.
Oh, hang on. This just hit me from the movie Rudy. So St. Mary's is the college. It's right next to Notre Dame.
It's across the street.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a beautiful, beautiful college.
I mean,
it's a
it
wonderful
really
place.
is.
It's awesome.
Some would argue that it's more beautiful than anything in South Bend.
Right.
And it kind of is. It was just a great place to go to school.
Is that okay? So, when did you first have a sense that you wanted to be a writer? And what were some of the people or events that maybe helped sculpt that at the time?
Well, I think every writer that you'll ever meet is a voracious reader, because that's our craft,
Sure.
right? So, books enchanted me really from the beginning, and my mother was a librarian, and I remember when we moved to Big Stone Gap, I was 6, and there was a full library in that house that we kept. We have now. The family that was there before us was the Goodlow family, and they had a library. They had all these incredible books. And my mother was a member of Book of the Month, I remember, but big on the library. And so the first thing we did was we got our library cards in Big Stone Gap to go to the bookmobile, which was the biggest deal in the world.
I bet.
Oh, man. I loved waiting for that bookmobile to come, and it was great. And then eventually the town got a library, the C. Bascom Slump Memorial Library. I like to give him credit. And which was around the corner from our house. And I'd started when I was in high school, did my homework there every night, that I did homework.
Just so you could be around the books, right?
I just like being in libraries, period.
Yeah, I understand.
It's the first thing I look for. And in a home, it's the first thing I look for,
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Adriana, let's talk a little bit about your career start. What was it like?
Well, my whole focus was I got to get to New York. And I think that, too, came from my upbringing in a certain way, because my grandfather was what we call in New York the schmata business, which is the garment manufacturing business. And my dad got into it. And so part of what they had to do is the same way that I have to go pitch movies in Hollywood or New York or wherever I happen to go, where the people are who have the dough, they had to go to New York to the garment district and get gigs. Like they'd say, well, we could make this for this, and that's how they made a living. So we would go with them sometimes, with my dad. And I took to the amount of people on the streets, the smell of, I still talk about coming through that tunnel and that scent of the exhaust. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just loved the action.
Mm-hmm.
From the get-go, you loved
From
it.
the get-go. My hut, poor thing, I love living there. I love it. Now, we've built a life that that our home is quiet, but I like to step out and be in it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for a writer, it's just a very, now listen, you got my friend Barbara Kingsolver. She loves the land, and she lives down in Appalachia. And I get what she gets from it too with her writing.
Right.
Her brilliant writing. She's in a class of her own. But for me, New York is my stimulus. It's like, and something interesting, just as a theater person, is like at 8:00 every night, I'm like, oh, the curtain's going up all over town. See, that's the kind of thing I'm into.
That's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And so New York was a draw because of the theater scene?
Yes, theater and television and film too. But, I worked on The Cosby Show. I worked on City Kids. I did a lot of shows in New York too before I got into books.
So it was mostly TV writing first.
TV, plays. Really plays. And I have to give a shout out to the comedy troupe. I was in a comedy troupe that I started called The Outcasts with these wonderful young women. And we worked the cabaret circuit for about 7 years.
Wow.
And then I went to Hollywood. It sounds enchanted, but it's all this failure in between. But
Oh, that's what that business is.
we fly over that.
Oh yeah.
But that stuff teaches you too.
Oh yeah.
It's just as important.
So when you get knocked down in that business, it's hard, right? How hard was it to get back up,
Well,
particularly early?
that's such a great question, Rich. I think, it's the camaraderie of your fellow artists. Without them, and in all
Yeah.
walks, I mean, I have friends that are dancers, singers, musicians, symphony people, opera. One of my besties is Mary Testa. She's a Broadway star. I mean, I'm going to see her in something in a couple weeks. I try to go see as much as I can and participate in it,
Mm-hmm.
But it's that community.
Yeah.
Because this is the bottom line, right? That's why we're here with Catholic education. It's the community.
Right.
We can't do this alone. There's not somebody coming along to save us. We have to do it together. So in the world of the theater, whether you're the most successful person, you pick up the check when you're the most successful, but you bring everybody along with you, and they bring you along with them. It's fantastic.
Adrian, what was your first big break?
Well, my first big break was at St. Mary's in 1981. I wrote and directed a production on the main stage at Notre Dame, and I knew that was a big
Wow.
deal because they would use professors or professional people would come in and direct those spots, and they gave me. And that was Reg Bain and Julie Jensen, my professors, got together, Fred Seberg, and they said, she can do it. And I pitched them the idea, and it was called Notes from the Nile, and it was the retelling of Cleopatra, of
Wow.
the story of Cleopatra in modern time. It was full of anachronisms. It was crazy. It was kind of a little, I don't know, I was very influenced by Mel Brooks.
Oh, okay.
That'll describe
Okay.
it. Okay. And it was an incredible success for me to know I could do it. And I cast people that have never been in plays. Some had a lot of experience. It just depended. And that was really my first, and you had to publish the play so people could study it in class. And I don't know, I just went, I could do this I could do.
So you're 21, 22 years old. You published your first
Well,
play.
I started writing that play because I had other plays produced there, but I started when I was 18.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And
That's
I
a
knew,
prodigy.
and I had done it in high school, so I was kind of I was into it. I can't even, when I walk in a theater, it's church to me.
Yeah.
It's sacred.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love
All right. Well, speaking of church, do you think your Catholic faith and your heritage and your upbringing gave you a unique advantage as a storyteller?
I think that's very true. I think what the Catholic faith does really well is provide a narrative for salvation. And I think that's not an easy thing. It comes through the stories, obviously, of the New Testament with Jesus, of course. But it's also the story of the people around Jesus that I always felt were like the choir. And if you read them, something's always being illuminated to Jesus Christ. He's good. He's in it as a human being as much as we are. So I always found that really fascinating. But it gives you a framework for the way to tell a story in a classical sense. And also, I just think you have to know what you're about as a writer.
That's right.
You kind of have to know what you're doing. What are you trying to say?
Okay,
Is
so
it we're trying to say? Yeah.
Big Stone Gap was your debut novel. That one, I guess, really put you on the map from an author standpoint.
Right.
What was your inspiration for that book? Obviously, where you grew up.
I went home on break from St. Mary's, and there was a girl named Kim Williams. She was so beautiful. She was in my high school class. She was on the homecoming court. She was one of those, but not not like not one of those pretty girls that knows it.
Okay.
She had no idea she was beautiful. And she was quiet, very, very quiet.
Okay.
And I came home, and I went down, as one will, to the Mutual Pharmacy, because you would have a chili dog and hang with your friends, and luncheonette part, and then
right.
you would then you would shop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So when I got there, I down to the Mutuals, I think it was sophomore year, and I went October break or something, and there's my friend Kim. And she's behind the counter at the Mutual Pharmacy. I said, Kim, I thought you went to well, at the time it's called CVC, Clinch Valley College, but then it became the University of Virginia at Wise. I thought you went to Clinch Valley College. And she said, no, I came home. My mom got sick. Now, Wise, Virginia is not that far, but it's a galaxy away from Big Stone Gap when you're going to college.
Yeah.
We used to go up there and see plays.
Yeah.
That also informed my education, by the way, going to the local colleges and seeing the productions. But this Kim Williams she came home to take care of her mom, and she never left, really. And I was able to see her in 2013 when I was producing the Big Stone Gap movie and directing it. And she came, and I saw her like on the periphery, and I went over to her and I said, this whole thing's about you.
Wow.
And she said, no. And then I started talking about it more, but I didn't want to like invade her privacy.
Sure.
Because everybody thinks it's me.
Ah, okay.
But it's not me, it's her.
Gotcha.
And she got sick and passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a terrible, but I connected with her daughter and stuff. And I did,
Wow.
Part of being a writer, too, is to be aware of the stories that are happening around you.
Yeah.
Now, I just wanted, for everybody listening, that was my sophomore year of college, and I didn't write Big Stone Gap until 1998, 99.
So that was a career work
That's
there.
well, they all are.
Yeah, they all are.
Like Como, all of them.
Okay,
they're in you for decades.
21 books, both fiction, nonfiction. Rich likes to talk about this fact because he's told a lot of people when we've been talking about you being our keynote, 38 different languages around the world. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever dream that this would happen? The success that you've had.
I mean, it's an incredible question. No, because you just are constantly girding your loins for failure. I mean, I don't think I think like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like the process. This is the thing. If you want to be an actor, you better love rehearsal. Like when an actor says to me, I love rehearsal. As a director, I love rehearsal. As a writer, I love the writing.
Yeah.
Now, I have a lot of dear friends who are brilliant writers, and they hate it.
And hate the writing piece.
Really?
I hate it.
Wow.
I don't like the sitting. The sitting I hate. But that's why I live in New York. I get up and go for a walk.
Yeah.
You
Sure.
can move, and you're better already. But you better love the process.
Oh, yeah.
Better love the process.
Can you write for hours on end, or does it just do
Yes.
spurts?
And I can do something where my best man friend is Michael Patrick King, and he's a beautiful Irish Catholic boy out of Scranton. And we laughed. We were sick one day because he called me and he said, I can't move my foot. Because when we're writing, we contort and twist, and his foot was he said, I've hobbled myself. I couldn't stand up. And we were laughing because you're out of your body.
Yeah.
You're in your head, and you're in the words, and you're there. And it could go for hours, Rich. I'm not kidding. I mean hours.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
Like it could be 6 or 7 hours, and you don't move.
Mm-hmm.
You're just in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you often refer to Hollywood icons in your stories. Did the classic films help you in your writing?
I think they did a great deal. And I would recommend everyone within the sound of our voices to watch The Song of Bernadette during Lent. I think it's the greatest screenplay. I just love I love saint stories.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get popular again. People are going to start making them. But that's a particular beautiful, this impoverished French family, and the girl that tells everybody she sees the Blessed Mother. I mean, and they turn on her, and oh, it's so great. And the evil nun in it. It's a beautiful screenplay. But yes, I'm very influenced by it.
Okay, it makes sense.
Very influenced. And in fact, I compare, when I go to see a movie now, I compare that acting to the acting of the golden age of Hollywood, which, by the way, there were some clinkers in there, but there's a lot of great ones. There's a lot of great ones.
And when you compare that, what do you come up with? What's better?
Well, I don't think it's better. I think it's different.
Okay.
I think that actors now are much more intent upon portraying a normal life. The ones that, of course, I run with, and also insist on it. And I think back then, you became part of a community again.
Yeah.
And, but there's so much. It's so different now, everybody. I mean, back then, the movies could be very profitable. Yes, and people made good livings. And I'm talking from the scene painters to the costume crew to everybody. They made a good living. There's a wonderful, I met a friend through books, really, Michael McSweeney. His father was an award-winning editor in Hollywood. He did The Second Mutiny on the Bounty, but he did a lot of great films. And when I wrote the Loretta Young book, it brought people out of the woodwork to talk to me about her, because Michael's family went to Mass with Loretta Young's family in Beverly Hills when he was a kid. So their Catholic community out there was pretty strong.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty great. St. Monica's different. And then there's one called Our Lady of the Pocketbook. That was Beverly Hills, for sure. But, see, my love of it comes back to me. The kids of these folks get a hold of me and talk to me about stuff,
Well, you talk about how it's different. I mean, you can make a movie on your iPhone now. I mean, so the technology is so much different, and anybody can make a movie now.
Yeah, anybody can make a movie now, but the same thing goes for, everybody can roast a chicken, but it's not going to come out like Jacques Pepin made it. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody
totally agree with that.
Potatoes like Jacques Pepin.
I totally agree with that.
The tools are exciting, and I would have loved to have had those tools, because when I was a little kid, film was really expensive.
Oh, yeah.
So you didn't take a zillion pictures.
Yep.
But we will see now. What I'm noticing, because I vote with the Directors Guild of America for the awards and the Writers Guild of America, so I try to watch everything. And what I noticed this year was really interesting. There was a lot of hearkening back to, for example, the Leonardo DiCaprio movie. That's what I call it, because it can never. Another battle, new day, another battle. Forgive me. You
Got
know
it.
what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
Somebody will write in. And
I'll get.
tell us the right time. I hate to.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I watched half of it the other night.
Paul Thomas Anderson shot it in VistaVision. Okay, those are special cameras that gave you that wide. Okay, and then when I was watching Marty Supreme, I saw actual shots that came right out of Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I see what's happening in our art form. People are pulling threads from the past, but modernizing it. Very exciting stuff.
One Battle After Another is a movie you're talking
One
about.
Battle After Another. The titles now, you got to give me Gunga Din. That I can remember. But Hamnet is a triumph. I hope you see it. It's a beautiful story of a family. I mean, really beautiful. So do I think they compare to? Well, I don't see a Spencer Tracy out there.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for the new Spencer Tracy, but there's some great actors out there, of course.
Sure. The part that fascinates me is you've adopted two books, Big Stone Gap and Very Valentine, into films. What did you learn in doing that? Did you produce? Did you direct those films?
I directed.
directed.
I directed and wrote Big Stone Gap, and let's just say, just to put a fine point on it, I learned a lot.
Okay.
I had made a documentary, and I insisted that I would direct it. Big Stone Gap because I wanted to film it in my hometown. And what they do now is they just go, we're going to Canada. And I love Canada and I love the Canadian people, but that's not telling my story in Appalachia. It just isn't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I really fought for that. And some people came on board to help me do it. It took a long time.
A lot of money.
It was a pretty low budget.
Was it?
Very, yeah. I mean, Patrick Wilson had ties to Big Stone Gap. I adore him. And his wife was cast as Elizabeth Taylor. Everybody took a part. His kids were in it. Ashley Judd was a triumph, I feel.
When you say low budget, though, what is low budget for you in that world?
Low budget is under $3 million.
See, right. Which a lot of people hear that and
But
like,
when
ooh,
you have 48 speaking parts and you're on location, it's just not enough.
that adds up so quick.
Well, that's without wasting any money, too. I mean, look, when you're talking about big budget Hollywood movies, they send glam squads to the producers to get dolled up for a premiere.
Right.
I mean, the money is flows.
Right.
Okay. And I'm skipping the part about making the film. I'm just telling you the waste.
Sure.
But people do whatever they want with their money.
Yeah.
We hope they're going to give it to Catholic education.
Well, we're going to listen.
We're working on it.
Rich is working on that hard. So, Adrian, what's the message? Obviously, you're the keynote speaker. And I'm curious, I'm assuming the message is going to have something to do with how Catholic education and your Catholic faith has impacted your career and your life.
Sure.
Is that the message with your keynote speech?
No, not really.
Okay.
My message is I'm going to have everybody in that room look at each other and say, we're the solution, this community.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I can come in here, make you laugh, and hopefully lift your spirits a little bit. And you'll be laughing. But when you leave here, I want you to make a commitment to yourself, to make a commitment to your community. Mm-hmm. And the fun part of this is most people already have.
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
They know it.
Especially this room that you're going to be speaking to.
Yeah. I mean, these are people that care about it. And if you commit to education, there is nothing more important than that.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Really,
Nothing.
You can't get anywhere without it. I mean,
No way.
By getting anywhere, I'm not talking about making money. I'm talking about making a life, a life where it's interesting to you from beginning to end.
Right.
What you offer your children as a parent.
Yeah. What do you share?
That's right. When you give.
Rich, you guys picked a really good one to speak at the salute.
We did indeed, and again, I really want to thank Adri for doing this. 2 of her sisters are going to be here tonight.
I'm
Fun,
so excited.
Yeah, that's going to be great. And
Excited.
again, she's a very busy woman, as you know, and for her to take the time to be with us it's a godsend.
All right, let's switch gears here for a second.
Yes.
Let's talk about something very near and dear to your heart.
I hope it's going to be a 2-parter.
Well, I mean, we're doing okay on time here.
Okay, good. I like a 2-parter.
The Origin Project that you co-founded in 2014. Tell our audience why this is so important to you and the thousands of young students that are inspired by it.
Now, my friend Nancy Bollmeyer Fisher I was an office temp at Merrill Lynch, and she was like this. She was in her late 20s at the time. I was a kid. Maybe she was in her 30s. I don't know. But anyway, she was just a powerhouse. And to see a woman, and I was in charge of her travel. That's all I was. I was a $6 an hour temp in charge of her travel. And we became friends. And she fell in love with a wonderful man who worked in a different department. And they got married and they had a boy, a beautiful son who's now a professor. I'm telling you this long-winded story because she was Catholic. And she was a small-town girl from out west, from Wyoming, and got to Merrill Lynch in New York. Her dreams started coming true. It was incredible. And by the age of 40 or so, she and her husband became basically philanthropists. They left he still works in it as a consultant, and they raised their boy, who's a wonderful young man. Anyway, her name's Nancy Bollmeyer Fisher. And I called her when I was filming the movie in 2013, and I said, Nancy, she said, I'll fly in, I'll come in. She lives in San Francisco. So she got there, and she's tooling around town. She's looking at it, and she's going, what exactly do you want to do? I said, I want to do an in-school writing program for these kids because they don't have access. Because at the time, my daughter was little, and you know, in New York, people come through. Big authors come through, and the kids go see them, and they have access, and they have the public library and all this stuff. And we have our libraries, but, you know, not the level of the programming. So Nancy came up with an idea, and I came up with my idea. I said, I just want to be, the thing I love about writing is it's a pencil and paper. It's not expensive. And I said, I do not want to be in the fundraising business. But as you know, if anything matters, you got to raise money.
That's right.
To find it, you just do. It's just, you know, I grew up really fast. Michelle Baldacci taught me that. She said, you're going to need money. I'm like, why? Expensive paper. You watch. So we started it. Nancy was the executive director. I worked with the kids. She worked with the kids. She had a degree, and I didn't even know this, in music education. So that was her purview. I had mine. And so now here we are all these years later, and we're still doing it. And we publish the kids' work in an anthology every year.
Awesome.
So the children that participate, the students, K through 12, when we started it, we said 9 to 12, too late, over. So we started it in kindergarten. And it's a fantastic program. And actually next week, I'm going down we go to different colleges and universities, and we bring the kids in so the kids can see what college looks like. Like a lot of our kids, I worked on this show called A Different World. This is a sidebar. And everywhere I go, if somebody knows I worked on that show, because this woman will say to me, or the young man, I went to college because of A Different World.
Yeah.
So we're getting that now.
Yeah.
I'm going to write because of the Origin Project, and it makes me very happy. So they write one story a year in a school year. We give them a journal. We teach them how to journal. Then from those journals emerges a story. The story they hone with their teachers. It's submitted by like February of the spring year, and then we're published by the Gupta Foundation, and it comes out right before the end of the school year.
Awesome.
Just distribute the books. And we have Katie Camillo coming, and this beautiful Appalachian cookbook author. I just said whose name escapes me right now. Forgive me. And then we have all the professors from Emory and Henry coming in. It's incredible.
What a cool project.
Yeah, it's all about, and it's how many thousands of kids have been impacted by this? Like 25,000, I read, or something like
kids,
that?
Yeah, it's upwards. Yeah, it's over that now.
It's across all these schools. Thousands of kids participate in this thing. It's big time stuff. And to her point, it's an inspiration for these kids to reach higher later, right?
You know, I do want to say this because we read these pieces that come in, and this year is the year we initiated the Nancy Ballmeyer Fisher Scholarship. So, and we had such a hard time with it. We gave a runner-up and a second runner-up there because we just felt like we wish we could do it for all the kids, you know. But the winner is a young woman out of Lee County, which is very poor, in Lee High School. And it was actually the setting. It's the same high school that Barbara Kingsolver set Demon Copperhead in.
Wow.
It's interesting.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So we're particularly thrilled about that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, Adriana, if you haven't done enough, you host the renowned podcast series, You Are What You Read. I dove into it last night. I was fascinated by the guests that you've had on that. How did that get started?
Well, during the pandemic, doesn't every story start with the pandemic?
Isn't that the truth?
Okay, during the pandemic, my fellow authors were calling me and going, what are we going to do? We can't tour. And I was working on a book, and I said, well, I could go. I had started on Facebook before the pandemic doing these Facebook Lives because I was part of a program there and at Meta at the time. And so anyway, so I kind of knew the terrain, and I said, well, I'll have you on my podcast, or my thing. And I wasn't even calling it that then. We would call it Facebook Live. I'll have you on Facebook Live, and we'll start doing it. Well, Then we started getting people like Matthew McConaughey.
Right.
And Matthew McConaughey kind of blew us up in the millions.
Oh, sure.
And then he came back on to raise money for the Arizona Kidney Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my favorite people. As a Hollywood person, he reminds me of those, I don't even know who. He's his own class of person.
He is.
Very devoted husband and father. It's very obvious. And he really, really cares about the planet and the people on it. He just does. And I call him a man of faith in his way, you know.
He's a decent actor. That's okay.
You know what? I love talking to him about his acting. I do love I have to tell you, there's a sidebar. I mean, we talked like an hour, but you know, we had Rob Reiner on in October, and Rob and I talked for about 2.5 hours, and you got an hour, but we talked for another hour and whatever it was, hour and a half,
Sure.
about politics.
Oh, wow.
He was very informed. That's a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
But I'm so
Yeah.
glad I had the opportunity to talk to him.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a
You
gift.
know?
What a gift.
Barbara Kingsolver, another great one. I mean, Maggie O'Farrell, who wrote Hamnet, which is the movie.
Andrew, what are you learning from your podcast guests?
That everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I'm amazed by, you know, like you could do a postage stamp of a supermodel, if that's your career. You could do a postage stamp of a politician. You could, if you had to, a type. Not true with writers. I mean, Bonnie Garmis, her first book came out and she was 66.
Yeah.
She got another one coming out soon. Great. And then there's the Wunderkinds that are in their 20s that write a book. The beautiful Emily Henry. She's in her 30s writing these rom-coms that are fantastic. I mean, it just depends.
Right.
It really, you can't pick them out of a lineup. You wouldn't pick out the writer,
So, Adrian, I'm curious.
which tells you something.
I have my sister-in-law is an aspiring writer. What kind of advice would you give to someone that's trying to break into this
My
industry?
first question is, what's she writing? A novel?
Well, a little bit of everything. She actually went to college to do television screenwrite,
Okay.
and she went to a prestigious college and got a degree in it, and really hadn't broken into it. But do you have to go move to one of these cities? Do you have to be in it?
No. Where does she live? Here?
Yeah, Elizabethtown, Kentucky.
Okay. That's already a cachet that she lives in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. That's already a gift
Okay.
to literature, okay? The first thing to say, have her get a hold of me, and I'll talk to her. I think one of the most exciting things that's happening in the world of books is that when I started doing this 26 years ago, there might have been, I don't know, a couple thousand self-published books. I want you gentlemen to guess how many were self-published last year in the United States of America.
Hundreds of thousands.
What would you say? That's a good answer.
The same.
3.8 million.
Yeah, I knew it was a lot.
So we are
4 million
we're in a-
self-published
Yeah.
books.
Okay,
Right.
but we're in a and the traditional publishers publish under 1 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying to your sister-in-law and to anybody. First thing is, I think everybody should write their life story down. It's precious. Just tell me what happened to you.
It's unique.
Yeah, and there's no two alike. And instead of worrying about who's getting the dishes and the silver and the pearls, leave your story, because your story will be the most precious document your family will possess. I wish I had my grandfather's stories on paper. I wish I did. My grandmother, I spent a lot of time with my grandmother, so I wrote everything down. My grandmother, Viola, my sister gave her, Grandma Remembers, that book. There was nothing in it. My grandmother never wrote in it. But she did write on a Ben Franklin pad and a page and a half her life story, and it's very precious to me.
Not bad.
Yeah, in her perfect penmanship, Palmer penmanship. But this is, writing is not for a group of people. Believe me, as many people who went to Harvard call me about how to get on that list as people that didn't.
Yeah, I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
No, that makes sense.
And maybe it'll open some doors to go to fancy schools. I don't know. but I don't think it matters. I think what matters is, can you tell me a story
Yeah.
that I want to hear?
Yeah.
You know?
So Matthew McConaughey, Rob Reiner, you name it. You talked about how your friends are actors, all these well-known celebrities, authors. How do you stay humble in that crowd?
Well, I don't know if being humble has to do with the crowd as much as the person. How am I going to say this? I just really enjoy people.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter to me what they do. So when I'm with an actor, people act differently around people that are famous. I do not, because I want to know them.
Sure.
And if they end up to be a jerk, so what? There are people,
Sure.
that in all walks of life that can be a little bit like that. But I would say I look at folks where they live, and I want to know about them. Like, I was far more interested when I was talking to Matthew about his mom moved in with them. And at one point in our conversation, I said, Matthew, you gave your children the greatest gift you could ever give them was to bring your mother to live with you. And he had not thought about that in that way.
Interesting.
And then I got to talk to his wife, who I'm crazy about, Camila Alves. She's a creative force, writes books, does everything. And I asked her that. And she was very matter of fact about it. It's what you do when you're in a family, It's what you do. So that's what's interesting to me. And I will say this, that any lifestyle where you have to have bodyguards, I don't want to be in that profession. That's when I pity them.
Yeah.
Because I can walk around and talk to anybody.
Sure.
Enjoy my life. They can't.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything, at the end of the day, they're just sitting on the couch with their phone,
Right.
With a bodyguard outside.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that.
All right, Adriana, a couple more. You've been so generous with your time here. What are some of the accomplishments in your life that you're most proud of?
Well, what I'm most proud of? Well, maybe just that I'm still standing. I'm still in New York City.
Still kicking.
Like, I think that's it. Yeah, I'm still at it, and I think that's good. And also that, I don't know, I think of my parents. I do think of my parents. And I had the great privilege of being with both of them before they passed and when they passed. My brothers and sisters with my dad. Everybody was there. My mom, my dad passed. And when my mother passed, it was my daughter and me. My sister who was down there at the time had gone to work, and then there were her caregivers. I don't know if that's something to be proud of. That's not really what it is. But those are my profound
memories.
They're my profound. Well, help me live a better life.
Yeah,
that's your rock.
When
That's your rock.
See somebody go.
Yeah.
You go, well, maybe I don't feel so good today, but I'm going to go give it my best. You know.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
What's next for Adri?
Well, I'm about to. I'm going to write a novel that is a partnership novel. I don't know. That sounds a little like I'm being vague. But I guess I could tell you. When does this air?
In April.
Yep.
Oh, in April? Okay, then we're good. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what it is. I am writing the sequel to The Godfather.
What?
The Mario Puzo estate. Yeah.
Whoa.
Are you really?
I am. I'm writing.
It's like my favorite movie of all time.
I'm telling you, I'm writing Connie's story.
Wow.
So all that happened, but I met the family. I'm crazy about them. And I have all of the ephemera, all of the work of Mario that I can use. I know. It's exciting.
I mean, wow.
All the
I'm shocked, but that's awesome.
that you love.
Yeah.
It's a little bit what they did, when they did sequels, that kind of spirit, but it's different because what's missing for me were the women. And so I want to write the women.
You feel any pressure?
Wow.
Do I feel pressure?
Because that's a big one.
I think it's exciting.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I'm built like that too.
I've met some. I like to be scared a little bit. I was at an event the other night for my friend Bill Persky, and Josh Sapan was there, and he ran AMC, and he put Breaking Bad on the air. I've met very few geniuses. He's a genius, Josh Sapan. And by the way, what a mensch. Anyway, so he said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I can't really tell you. I'm going to tell you. You just tell me what you think." I told him what I just told you, and he said, "Oh my God." When we were at AMC, he said, when we had a hole in the programming and we needed a lift, we'd say, "Run The Godfather."
I bet.
And the
Seriously.
numbers would go crazy.
Yeah.
They'd go crazy.
Yeah.
My fave.
Yeah, so that's what my next book project is. But I'm also going to write and direct that into a film after I'm done with the novel.
The View from Lake Como.
Oh, yeah.
And then nobody knows this either, but I'm writing the pilot. There'll be other people run the show of a series of Big Stone Gap, which takes place now.
Wow. Cool.
It's the same characters they're in the present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, so cool.
A lot less.
That'll fill her time for about 6 months.
Yeah. Golly.
No, that's going to probably get me to death's door.
It might take a while. It might take a while.
That's going to get me to the end. I think.
Adriana, how honored we are that you take this time to be with us and share your amazing story. And on behalf of everyone at the foundation, thank you for your great works and the joy that you bring to others around the world. And Rich, as every Catholic school family in need now knows, at the Catholic Education Foundation,
The answer is yes.
Adriana, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, everybody.
God bless you. You're the best.
Thank you.